So I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to be able to relate to this meme right here of a guy poking the Guardians with a stick, pleading it to do something, because this happens every single offseason. I have to sit back as a Guardians fan and watch the Mets make moves, the Rangers are making moves, the Blue Jays, the Marlins, everyone's making moves, but Cleveland, it's so aggravating. All right. I'm a happy little fuzz. I got my Spider-Man No Way Home tickets. Nothing can make me sad. But anyways, what's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. I am going to stop ranting about my team, and we're going to focus on all of these signings and extensions that happened yesterday, because if I'm looking, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 10 new acquisitions to talk about. It is going to be a crazy video, so if you're into baseball, do not be afraid to hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you want to see more videos like this. We're not going to waste any more time with an intro. Max Scherzer is going to the New York Mets for the next 3 years at $130 million, which is about $43 million a year, the highest AAV ever. That is how much a player is going to make on a season-to-season basis. Max Scherzer, $43 million. Steve Cohen, who was angered by Steven Matz a few days ago, again, he came out and he said to his GM, Billy Epler, get everyone. You go sign everyone right now. Starlin Marte, Mark Canha, Eduardo Escobar, and Max Scherzer all within a few days. Christmas has officially come early. Black Friday has now turned into Cyber Monday, and Mets fans are still reaping the benefits of that. So Max Scherzer, he's coming off a season in which he led baseball in WHIP, and he also had a 2.46 ERA. So the man was absolutely dominant, and he joins Jacob frickin' deGrom. Now, I love Garrett Cole. I love Justin Verlander. I love Clayton Kershaw, Corey Kluber, all of the greats that have really been the best starting pitchers of our game the last 10 to 15 years. I personally think that Jacob deGrom has the highest ceiling of any of them, that he could be the best of the bunch. And now it's going to be Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer leading that rotation. Now, of course, the bullpen needs a little bit of help as well, because they just lost Aaron Loup, but I really like what the Mets have done. They are making this offseason fun again, and yeah, they're kind of carrying it on their back. So a 3-time Cy Young is joining, in my opinion, the best pitcher I've ever seen, Jacob deGrom. So the Mets payroll is now sitting at around $270 million for the 2022 season, while Cleveland, they're not even at $70 million, they're not even at $50 million, they're barely at $30 million, and again, I just feel completely left out. Francisco Lindor must be having himself a great time, knowing that he has an owner that is willing to spend some money and turn some heads, and I could not be more jealous. Now, we are going to talk about other players, but I feel like the second biggest one behind Max Scherzer, again, that was kind of the breaking story, the headliner of today's video, Max Scherzer to the Mets for the next 3 years at $130 million. We don't have to talk about the stats of Max Scherzer because he's a future Hall of Famer, so let me know in the comment section down below, what do you make of this signing, especially if you're a Mets fan. Now, moving over to the Rangers, who are starting to make some noise, especially with this signing right here. Marcus Semien is going to Texas for the next 7 years, totaling almost $200 million at $175 million. He is coming off a top 3 MVP season. He was a top 3 in MVP 2 years ago. We'll talk about that in just a second. So the resume has been built. He is ready to go. He also had the most home runs ever by a second baseman last year. He won a Gold Glove. Now, a lot of people are saying 7 years. We've seen this before for a 31-year-old. Guys like Robinson Cano and Albert Pujols and Miggy. When you give a long-term contract to a guy who's 30+ years old, usually it doesn't work out, but maybe Marcus Semien is going to be the outlier. So again, he was top 3 in MVP, won a Gold Glove. He is quick on the bases as well. He is a true 4-tool athlete. His arm isn't the best, but I think he can work on that maybe in the offseason. I don't really know how you improve your arm long toss, but back in 2019, he was 3rd in MVP. So this guy has been top 3 in MVP 2 out of the last 3 seasons. So we know that he's that guy. He had 83 extra base hits in 2019, a 140 OPS plus. He is definitely going to make the Texas Rangers a problem, and they weren't done with Marcus Semien. They also picked up John Gray, who will earn roughly $56 million over the next 4 seasons, and he is a breakout candidate all the way. Now, he is 30, so we know with starting pitchers, unlike positional players, at age 30, you usually get better, or you're kind of just done, and you're going to go to the bullpen, or you're done in baseball. But I really think that playing in Coors Field kind of built up his arm. He has nasty stuff. He's got a lively fastball, a fantastic fantastic curveball. He has a career 3.91 FIP, which is not the best by any means, but considering, like I just mentioned, he played 7 years in Coors Field, that did not help at all. So to me, playing in that new Texas ballpark, the ball doesn't fly as far. His numbers are going to come down. And something to keep in mind, the Rangers are not done with Marcus Semien. They're not done with Jon Gray. They are going after Corey Seager. I'm hearing reports that he is their #1 option right now in terms of free agents left. And if they don't get him, they're going to go for Trevor Story. So if you're a Rangers fan, you have to be sitting pretty right now. They went for it a few years ago when they got Mike Minor, Lance Lynn, and Corey Kluber. They still had Joey Gallo. Willie Calhoun was playing pretty well. So the Rangers a few years ago were going to be pretty good. Everything fell through. But now going into 2022, they could be a problem. They are seeing the writing on the wall that the Angels are improving. The A's, they're not doing all too much. And the Astros are only going to get worse if Carlos Correa leaves. So again, this is a big time video. Max Scherzer, Marcus Semien, Jon Gray all going to new teams. But we're not done just yet. This is a big boy signing. Kevin Gausman is going to the Blue Jays for the next 5 years. He's going to earn about $25 million a year. The total is $100 million. This guy has been gross over his last 250 innings. He has a combined 3 ERA and FIP, so he has been a monster. Gausman, Ryu, Barrios, Manoah, that is a fantastic, if I might say, an elite 1 through 4 punch, and maybe Nate Pearson actually develops and he's a number 5 guy, or he's just a long relief guy. Yes, losing Marcus Semien does hurt a lot. A top 3 MVP, you can't find those on the side of the street, but we understand, especially if you're a Toronto fan, offense was not the problem. Pitching into the 6th and 7th inning was their biggest issue because they would have the lead for 4 or 5 innings because their offense was that lethal. They would give it to their bullpen and then the bullpen would implode. So yes, again, I'm going to say this one more time. Losing Marcus Semien stings, but adding Kevin Gausman and understanding that pitching is your biggest bugaboo, hopefully they go spend $15 to $25 million on the bullpen. But if I'm the Blue Jays, I go after a bunch of veterans like Jake Diekman and guys that have been there before. Maybe they sign for a little bit cheaper, because what can happen is they can sign guys for cheap and maybe they flip them at the deadline if they're not in contention, but I don't see that happening. The Blue Jays are definitely going to be a problem. It's just Gausman, Ryu, Barrios, Manoah. I would not want to face that, especially in a playoff series. So Kevin Gausman, he got paid. I could not be happier for him. Now, before we talk about the other 3 smaller signings, I do want to talk about Byron Buxton getting paid. He agreed to a big extension, $100 million for the next 7 seasons. So Kevin Gausman, because he's been healthier over the last few years, he is going to get more than Byron Buxton. But Byron Buxton, at his best, is one of the best players in baseball. He has top 10 talent. I just want to show you guys these stats. Over his last 100 games, he has 26 doubles, 32 home runs, a 155 OPS plus, and 21 DRS, 21 defensive run saves in center field. So again, top 10 talent. If he can stay healthy for 145 to 150 games at this level, he is going to do historic things. So that was the extension Byron Buxton signs for the next 7 years or so. Marlins, they're making some noise as well. They pick up Avisail Garcia. I call him Mini Miggy because he kind of looks like Miguel Cabrera. He is going to Miami for 4 years at $55 million, which is actually the biggest contract under the new ownership led by Derek Jeter. So Kim Ng, she is making some noise. So Avi, he is coming off a season in which he had 29 home runs. He played fantastic defense over in right field. He ended the season with 8 defensive run saves, and he can actually fly on the base pass. He was top 12% in sprint speed. So the Marlins outfield is a little bit crowded. They acquired Brian De La Cruz. I really like their other guys. So to me, Avi, he's definitely going to play right field because he's got the defense and speed. He also has a really good arm as well. So I love this pickup. The Marlins, they can do something special if their rotation can stay intact and if they can develop Jesus Luzardo and reach his fullest potential. Moving over to Corey Kluber going to the pitching factory. This is going to be scary for AL East teams if this actually pans out in the Rays' favor. $8 million for Corey Kluber. He is not Klubot, but I mean, he threw no hitter with the Yankees, maybe one of the more random Yankee moments in their history. He finished with a 3.8 ERA and FIP in 16 starts, which is pretty good in my opinion, especially when considering he hadn't really pitched all too much the previous 2 seasons. So watch the Rays turn Corey Kluber back into Klubot, and they're going to be someone that you're going to have to go through yet again in the playoffs. And then last but not least, in terms of these smaller signings, Hector Neris is going to the Astros for 2 years at $17 million. So man, I mean, what is that, $8.5 a season. Good for him. Hector Neris is a strikeout machine, but if you're a Phillies fan, you pretty much know that he is an implosion waiting to happen. He is essentially Kroger's Edwin Diaz. You are going to get an elite pitcher sometimes, and you are going to get a guy that blows a 3 to 4 run lead with ease the next day. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you make of all these signings? We have Max Scherzer going to the Mets with the richest contract on a season per season basis in Major League Baseball history. We have Marcus Semien and John Gray going to the Rangers, and the Rangers are still in on guys like Corey Seager and Trevor Story, maybe even Javier Baez. Not hearing too much on Javier Baez. I think it's Story and Seager. It's either going to be them or nothing. Kevin Gausman is going to the Blue Jays. He is joining Jose Barrios, Hyun-Jin Ryu, and Alek Manoah. Buxton, he's going to be with the Twins for the next kind of half decade. And then the Marlins pick up Avisail Garcia. Corey Kluber is going to the Tampa Bay Rays for $8 million. Could go up to $13 million after incentives. And then last but not least, Hector Neris going to the Astros for $17 million. What a recap. Oh, that was so much fun. I got my Spider-Man tickets. You know, the offseason is going bananas right now, and that's probably because the lockout is happening in 2 days. So all of these guys are trying to get their money right now before the lockout happens, and maybe teams are going to be spending less and less because something changes with the CBA. I'm not too sure what could happen, but definitely anything is possible. Thank you guys for watching. I'm happy that I could bring you guys some fat, juicy news. It was a lot of fun. So if you're into baseball, don't be afraid to leave a like, subscribe. We do this almost every single day. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.